The night before the wedding, my fiancé called to say he was taking his childhood sweetheart to find herself in Tibet. Let's call off tomorrow. I was staring at the wedding gown that had just been delivered. Someone had splashed red paint across the bodice. Why? Chase was hunched over his phone, photoshopping her pictures. Briar's upset. She needs to get away to clear her head. And I'm going with her. Briar, the girl who accidentally slept over in his Oxford shirts. The engraved invitations have already gone out. We'll send new ones later. I wanted to rip the gown to shreds, but he was already double-tapping her latest Instagram post and commenting, "On my way, Chase." The video call cut off. My future mother-in-law lifted the ruined gown and held it against me. Briar is such a sentimental child. Don't be petty. Dry clean it and it's fine. I grabbed the fabric shears and sliced the train into confetti. Dry clean? Pass. I just posted their hotel room video to the Sterling family WhatsApp group. If anyone still wants this wedding, be my guest. One Dolores froze. Her phone vibrated like a trapped hornet in her pocket. The group chat was already nuclear. That's Briar from next door, right? Lord, she's naked. Has Chase lost his mind? Aren't they getting married tomorrow? This is straight up adultery. She snatched my phone and jabbed at the screen. Undo it. How do you undo this? Why won't it click? The more she panicked, the clumsier her thumbs became until the phone clattered to the floor. I watched without blinking. Too late. The 2-minute recall expired. Just then Chase rang. I answered on speaker. Zoe, are you insane? Have you lost it? It was a misunderstanding. Briar's clothes were wet, so she took them off. Delete that clip now. Briar was sobbing. She said she couldn't face anyone. She'll kill herself. A laugh tore out of me. Suicide? Perfect. I'll send the condolence money. $200 tops. We are acquaintances after all. Chase went silent. Zoe, how can you be so vicious? Are you even human? Dolores jabbed a finger in my face. You jinx. I never approved of you. My son was blind. Now you're driving Briar to her death. You witch. She swung at my cheek. The moment her palm started its arc, I slammed my own across her face. Smack. Dolores swayed stunned. She kept her reddening cheek eyes wide. You dared hit me. Hit you? Need to check the calendar first. She snapped into full tantrum mode, plopped on the floor, slapping her own thighs, wailing to the ceiling. Wife hits mother-in-law. No justice left. Printed them, backed them up on 2 drives. Then I rang the bank's hotline. Hi, cancel my supplemental card. Yes, freeze it now. And sweep the remaining balance back to the primary account. Within 2 minutes it was done. Chase texted instantly. What the hell? Card declined. I'm at the hospital billing desk. Briar is still getting her stomach pumped. She could die. Unlock it. I replied with a single image. The $28,000 purse charge circled in scarlet. Text under it. Tell your baby to pawn that bag. It should cover the ER. Oh, it's my bag. So wire me the proceeds once it sells. Chase's side went radio silent. I started cleaning. Hauled the biggest black trash bags I could find. Stuffed every t-shirt, sneaker, console and action figure he owned. Dragged the lot to the corridor. Ben and Dee. Robbed it like the garbage it was. 3 deep night. Thunderous pounding on the door. Chase was back. Zoe, you. Open up. You changed the locks. That's illegal. This is our marital home. You trying to murder Briar? She's so fragile. I peeked through the fisheye. Not just Chase. Briar, supposedly getting her stomach pumped, stood right beside him, cheeks rosy, eyes sharp. Not even a tremor. I clutched the industrial strength pepper gel I'd ordered online and yanked the door wide. So, you finally decided to open. P.S. Shuh. I didn't waste a syllable. I aimed squarely at his face and let the pepper gel rip. Ah! Chase shrieked like a slaughterhouse pig, both hands clawing at his eyes as he curled on the floor and rolled. My eyes, they're on fire. Zoe, you psycho. Behind him, Briar froze for half a second. Then her sweet, innocent mask twisted into something feral. How dare you hurt Chase? She screamed, nails flashing for my cheeks. I'd expected it. I snapped sideways, rammed a knee up and buried my heel in her stomach. Back off. Briar flew a good 6 feet. Crash. She took the half-tall foyer vase down with her. Porcelain exploded across the marble. She deliberately flopped onto the shards, letting one slice her palm. Blood bloomed. Cue the Oscar audition. Murder. My sister-in-law is trying to kill me. Help. My hands are ruined. I'll never play piano again. Chase staggered up, ice slits of scarlet through blinding tears. He saw the blood and went crimson himself. Zoe. Destroying the wedding gown wasn't enough. You want her hands too? You're evil. I watched the circus with Arctic calm. Piano DJ fingers that V-stroked half the club's thighs. Sure, they're precious. Can't have scars marring the merchandise. Chase gaped at him. Briar had always been the untainted art student virgin. You're lying. I thumped my phone to call 911. You love drama? Great. Audience is on the way. Chase lunged. Drop that phone. No cops. This time he used full force. I'm trained, but weight classes exist. I wasn't ready for the blind charge. The phone flew. He slammed me backward. My heel skidded on gel residue. I crashed into the shoe cabinet. The corner kissed my skull. Lightning pain wiped out my vision. Through the haze I saw Briar spring up, smirking. She kicked shards aside and coughed. Forget the hag labro. She's out cold. Grab the deed, the passbooks, the jewelry, cash in hand. We'll vanish. Chase hesitated a heartbeat, then stepped over me like discarded trash. Drawers screeched. Cupboards thundered. Fought the blackout. Fingers crawling. My phone, where their muscle memory found Cassie's speed dial. One ring. Help was all I managed before the dark swallowed me. When my lids fluttered open, Cassie's bloodshot eyes filled my view. The moment she saw me focus, the fearless little fire spit burst into tears. Zoe, you're back. You scared me to death. Doc says grade 2 concussion. Any later and you'd have a clot pressing on nerves. My tongue felt like sandpaper. Them. Cassie's gaze went homicidal. Rabbit, relax. Your new cloud-stored security feed caught everything in 4K. Already filed. The door swung open. Chase walked in, clutching a plastic bag of bruised fruit and a plastic smile. Babe, you're up. I was so worried. Cassie shot to her feet, sleeves already rolled. Show your face again, and I swear I'll rearrange it. Chase. I caught her hoodie hem and shook my head. No free show. State your business, then crawl out. He parked the pathetic fruit on my bedside table and pulled a chair. Listen, last night was a huge misunderstanding. You pepper sprayed me. I shoved in reflex. Mutual combat. Yeah. Going public stains both of us. Let's settle privately. All you have to do is unfreeze the supplemental and Venmo me $200,000 for Briar's hand. Then I won't press assault charges. Otherwise, one felony in sterling will bounce you, partner or not. I let a slow grin grow. Private settlement? Sure. His face lit. I knew you still love me, babe. Best wife ever. Send the money. Briar's waiting downstairs. I pulled the phone from under my pillow. Before Venmo, adore this remix. I tapped a voice file. Cassie's hacker pals had wired Briar's favorite club. Bass still thumped behind her voice. Chase, believe anything I say. Soon as I milk him dry, I'll kick the loser to the curb. Color drained from Chase. His cheeks ripened to liver. Fabrication. AI. Deep fake. Before he could breathe, I served card 2. The paternity lab printouts. Briar never pumped her stomach. She's 4 months gone. I locked eyes with him. 3 months ago you flew to Chicago. Yet you were holed up with her trying to erase this. The kicker? The kid isn't yours. Chase's world imploded because I knew his calendar. He'd indeed been with her. He stared at the black and white verdict, but she swore it was mine. Briar's expecting father unknown. I folded my arms. I've filed. Choice. Cooperate and enjoy prison, or resist and still enjoy prison, only slower. His knees hit linoleum. Snot and tears streamed as he grabbed for my hand. I'm the injured party. She tricked me. Help me sue her. I'll kill the... I kicked his clutch away in disgust. Too late. The door reopened. 2 uniformed officers stepped in, cuffs gleaming. Chase, suspicion of home invasion robbery. Let's go. He gibbered, this is family beef. She's my wife. They spun him, bracelets clicking. Tell it downtown. 5. Chase was booked, but the hotel refused a full refund on the ballroom and banquet. Fine. I would recycle my would-be fairy tale into a payback gala, and no one would forget. The engraved invitation stayed out. I blasted a group text. Ceremony proceeds. Major reveal inside. Formal attire mandatory. Wedding day. All of Riverdale's who's who filed in. Relatives, classmates, my investors, even Chase's marketing directors. The moment the ballroom doors parted, jaws hit marble. Black and white decor everywhere. A whiling couple's montage should hang. A banner screamed, "Congratulations to Chase Briar on their new cellmates." Instead of the wedding march, a funeral dirge rolled from the pipe organ. On the Jumbotron, a lovingly edited VCR cycled. Scene 1, Chase rifling my safe. Briar stuffing Hermes totes. Scene 2, Briar's club confession. Dolby enhanced. Scene 3, the paternity report. Zoom on excluded. I glided down the aisle anyway. Ivory gown swapped for obsidian silk. Bouquet of black calla lilies. When I reached the altar, I raised a flute of flat champagne. To Karma, may she keep smashing scales until they balance. The crowd erupted in confused cheers and horrified gasps. Cameras flashed like strobes. I smiled, raised the mic, and toasted the glorious beginning of my life without lies. The video of Chase and Briar making out in the hotel corridor. The high-definition cloud-stored security feed of them breaking into my apartment in the middle of the night. And the photo of Chase in handcuffs being shoved into a squad car. The whole room exploded. The whispering turned into a deafening roar. Dolores had shown up today in head-to-toe red. Beaming as she led her battalion of aunts and cousins, certain she'd watch me become a joke and maybe squeeze some cash out of the spectacle. The moment she stepped through the door, her face went green. "Zoe, you goddamn witch. What is this? This is a curse on our Chase. Take this down right now." She lunged for the AV rack. I was ready. A flick of my wrist. A dozen hulking men in black suits and dark glasses stepped from behind the drape. Elite security. I paid a fortune for them. Dolores barely reached the edge of the stage before two guards hoisted her like a chicken and dumped her back in her seat. "Let go. I'm the mother-in-law of this family." "Shut it," the guard barked. Dolores clamped her mouth shut, trembling. I took the mic, climbed the stage in my stilettos, and smiled. "Welcome everyone to today's wedding. No vows, no cake, only a funeral. A funeral for my dead love, and a public service announcement on the Monroe family curriculum." The relatives stared at one another, desperate to bolt, yet too terrified to move. The executives from Chase's company sat stone-faced. They'd come for champagne and congratulations. Instead, they were watching an employee crime documentary. I walked straight to the VP and handed him a folder. "Davis, here's proof Chase embezzled company funds to buy his mistress a condo." He flipped through the pages, hands shaking, then slammed the table. "Scum like this is fired on the spot. Legal is suing him into the ground." Dolores, who had just caught her breath, rolled her eyes back. "My boy, his job. Zoe, you poisonous shrew. You're killing us." She clutched her chest, genuine rage crushing her lungs, and dropped unconscious. Chaos. "Call 911. Now in the corner, Briar's parents tried to disappear. They'd come to watch their daughter ascend. Instead, they saw giant screen photos of her table dancing in a club and the filthiest chat logs imaginable. "Your daughter really is accomplished. She knows every position in the book." I aimed the mic at them and twisted the knife. Every head swiveled, fingers pointed. Laughter and jeers rained down. "Turns out she's a hooker playing the girl next door. The apple doesn't fall far. Look at her parents." Taylor's face glowed scarlet. He searched for a crack in the floor. Taylor covered her face, dragged her husband, and fled through a tunnel of booze. Paramedics arrived and hauled Dolores away. The Monroe clan slunk off behind the stretcher. I stood on stage, surveying the wreckage. The same people who'd wanted to squat over my head were now ruined at my feet. I raised my glass of Chateau toward the empty doorway and drained it. "Feels damn good." Chase was locked up for felony burglary. Huge amount, and I refused to blink, so he wasn't going anywhere soon. Briar, that little rat, sprinted for daylight at the precinct. She cried perfect tears, swearing Chase forced her. She was a victim. She hadn't known it was a robbery. Surveillance showed Chase throwing punches and stuffing loot into bags. She'd only watched. Without direct evidence, they had to let her walk. Not on my watch. I called my lawyer and booked a meeting at Riverdale Center. Thick bulletproof glass separated us. Chase shuffled out, shaved bald and in county orange. His beard was patchy and his eyes were cloudy. He lunged for the handset. Wife. Zoe. I know you still love me. Get me out. This place is hell. Guys beat me. Just sign a letter of forgiveness. Call it a domestic spat and I walk. I lifted my receiver. Dream smaller, Chase. I came to deliver good news. I pressed a photocopy to the glass. Briar's statement. See your sweetheart, your soulmate. She says you masterminded everything. She was innocent and terrified. She also claims you've always had a violent streak and blackmailed her into dating you. Chase's eyes bulged, veins riding in his neck. That I blew my wallet on her, even stole from you and she sells me out? Rage, betrayal, sour hate, perfect kindling. I smiled, gentle as a guidance counselor. Want a lighter sentence? I won't write that letter, so forget it. But cooperation, real evidence against your co-conspirator, might sway a judge. He panted like a dog, nostrils flaring. You're rotting here while she's outside blowing your cash and screwing new men. Swallow that. Even cowards have feral spite when cornered, especially narcissists like Chase. Hell no, I'll bury her. He rattled off proof. Voice memos on Briar's phone planning the break-in, texts ordering him to gamble with Loan Shark cash, screenshots of her escort ads she bragged about, voice notes conning other suckers. Perfect. I clicked on the recorder I'd hidden in my purse. Slowly, every detail. Half an hour later, I stepped out with a fat file of evidence. I speed-dialed Cassie. Drop the net. Ironclad case. Send Briar in to keep him company. TWW. Oh, scorpions in a jar suit them better than civilized air. 7 chases locked away, but assets remain. When we got engaged, I bought him a BMW outright, title in his name to spare his fragile pride and the rickety townhouse his parents squatted in. Worthless but still property. Dolores's first move after she woke in the ER was to hide the Beamer and fast-track the deed transfer. My parents raced down from upstate the moment they heard. Dad's a retired Marine who never outgrew his hatred of bullies. He saw the bandage on my forehead. Eyes narrowed, zero small talk. Honey, lead the way. Let's see who messes with the lens. We showed up with counsel, a locksmith, and a flatbed truck. The BMW was wedged under a lean-to in the condo's back corner, buried in moldy quilts. We'd barely rounded the hedge when Dolores charged out. What do you think you're doing? This is my son's car. This is robbery. Touch it and I'll throw myself under the wheels and die right here. She flung herself in front of the tires, rolling and shrieking. The same old tantrum she always pulled. My dad didn't waste a word. He popped the trunk and pulled out a sledgehammer. Listen up, old lady. Your son owes my daughter hundreds of thousands. This car settles the debt. You won't hand it over? Fine. My daughter paid for this ride, and I'll smash it to scrap metal before I let you keep a single bolt. He hoisted the hammer. Crash. The windshield exploded into glittering dust. Dolores froze, mouth gaping. She'd thrown her weight around for decades, but she'd never met in-laws this ruthless. Crash. 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 Dad poured every ounce of fury into those swings. The hood caved, headlights shattered, doors crumpled. A pristine BMW turned to junk in the blink of an eye. Stop. Please stop. Dolores wailed like the hammer was slamming straight into her chest. That was Mom's cue. The gentle teacher morphed into a pit bull accountant, slapping a thick stack of invoices and lawyer letters against Dolores's cheek. Read it and weep. Proof your son defrauded and stole from my daughter. The court summons is already printed. No repayment and we freeze your assets and auction this house. You and your husband can set up cardboard boxes on the sidewalk. Neighbors circled, whispering and pointing. Shameless Monroes conning their own daughter-in-law. Humiliation ate Dolores alive. Her arrogance withered, trembling. She pulled out the keys and the spare cash book from her purse. Take it. Take everything. Just don't take our home. I pocketed the items and stared down the woman who once acted untouchable. Would have been simpler if you'd started with that. I reclaimed what was mine. Dad dropped the hammer, clapped a calloused hand on my shoulder, steady and warm. Don't be scared, kiddo. If the sky falls, Dad holds it up. Walking away from garbage like that is a blessing. I buried myself in Mom's arms and finally let the tears out. 8. Thanks to Chase's cooperation statement at Riverdale, detectives launched a full court press on Briar. To shave time off his sentence, Chase sold her out top to bottom. Briar was formally charged with fraud and conspiracy to commit robbery. But the woman's a cockroach, disgusting and impossible to squash. Before they could cuff her, she whipped out a fresh diagnosis: severe depression and an ultrasound threatening miscarriage. She walked on bail. That should have been the end of it. Instead, she posted a tear-stained essay online. The years they bullied me. How my rich sister-in-law drove us poor folk to despair. Pure fiction. She painted me as a spoiled brat who sneered at Chase's salary and forced him into loan shark debt. She claimed theirs was true love and I, the evil witch tearing them apart. A fragile selfie accompanied it. Briar gazing at the camera, gauze wrapped around her wrist, eyes full of tragic poetry. Nice ones love a damsel in distress. Overnight my Instagram blew up, then went dark. Comment after comment, money camp by deck. And see, she hounded them to death. Capitalist tyranny at its darkest. Stay strong, baby girl. We've got you. Cassie wanted to trace every IP and start swinging. I stayed cool. Let the story climb higher. The higher they fly, the harder they fall. I didn't bother defending myself. I had Cassie reach out to Briar's other marks. Our victims group chat now held more than a dozen members. College kids scammed out of tuition, retirees robbed of nest eggs. 3 days later the tide peaked. I released the kill shot. A joint statement packed with screenshots. Briar conning, Briar blackmailing, Briar calling her own followers dumb leaks, and voice notes, plus nightclub ads listing her VIP escort rates. Public opinion flipped in seconds. The same mob that cursed me now gagged on their own words and turned on her. Holy hell. Professional con artists made me puke. Someone neuter this psycho. Her account snoot. Briar was digitally erased. Yet that still wasn't enough. I discovered the real reason she pushed Chase to rob me. She'd secretly borrowed from loan sharks to gamble, and the markers were due. With the spotlight blazing, she couldn't pay. Via an anonymous handle, I dropped her cheap motel hideout to the collectors. That night, they cornered her in a back alley. They took every dollar she had and broke one of her legs for interest. Past midnight, my phone rang. Sis, it's Briar. I was wrong. Please help me. They'll kill me. It hurts so bad. I almost laughed at the irony. Rescue you? Your Chase is locked up. Call him. As for me, I'm just here for the show. I hung up. Blocked the number. 96 months later, the gavel fell. Chase got 12 months suspended for 2 thanks to remorse and substantial assistance. He walked out that afternoon. Briar, still nursing an infant, father unknown, escaped custody while breastfeeding, and was slapped with house arrest bracelets. Together they owned absolutely nothing. Chase's record blacklisted him. HR departments slammed doors. Friends and relatives treated him like toxic waste. Briar limped on one leg, stroller in front, baby wailing, spat on by strangers. You'd think they'd blame each other for the free fall. Instead, rejected by the world, these two piles of mud stuck back together. Only each other would open a door. And only they shared a single obsession. Hate for me. Chase started tailing me. One afternoon, he cornered me outside Sterling, a kitchen knife hidden up his sleeve. Zoe, you ruined my life. My mom's gone insane and I'm finished. $500,000 or we both die right here. Security swarmed before he could lunge. He slunk off, snarling. I filed a restraining order and hired 2 ex-cops, rotating 24/7. Briar kept busy too, sending horror pics, smearing my name in blood on mirrors, leaving dead rat warnings and mutilated cats on my porch. Low-grade terror, nothing I couldn't handle. It only proved they were down to their last fumes. Better to lure the mad dogs down a blind alley and finish them. At a high-profile dinner, I purposely leaked intel to Cassie, loud enough for nearby ears. Cash flows tight. Thank God I stashed $2 million in bearer bonds in the safe at my country place. Was going to renovate. I'll swing by tomorrow and haul it to the bank. That villa had been a pure play investment I bought years ago. Off the map. Never renovated. Still a bare-bones shell. I knew the news would reach Chase before dinner. One of the guys at the table used to call himself Chase's brother. Another deadbeat drowning in debt. The forecast that weekend called for a cloud burst. The sky hung so low it felt ready to collapse. I drove the freshly repaired car out to the countryside alone. Cassie and the security detail tailed me by 2 kilometers. In the rearview mirror, a beat-up van hugged my bumper, skulking like a rat. Hook, line, sinker. Inside were the 2 desperados, Chase and Briar. For them this was the last card. Snatch the 2 million and vanish. I let a thin smirk stretch my lips and eased off the gas, luring them onto Ravencliff. No cameras cursed that bite. Rain started harder, faster, drumming the glass until the world blurred. Mid-mountain the van suddenly lunged. Crunch. The impact whipped my head back. The belt carved into my ribs. Chase wanted me parked on the cliff. I white-knuckled the wheel, sweat slicking my palms. Yet my mind stayed ice-cold. Bring it. Let the storm get fierce. I didn't brake. I floored it. The van glued itself to my tail. Through the curtain of rain, I could almost see Chase's contorted face and Briar's greedy gleam in the passenger seat. Ahead, a hairpin width. Nothing beyond it but air and a flimsy rail. Cassie's crew waited on the far side, but this wasn't simply an arrest. I wanted them to swallow their own poison. The van slammed into my rear quarter again, trying to fishtail me into oblivion. Metal shrieked over slick asphalt. Now at the last straight before the bend I feigned accelerating like I'd power through. Chase took the bait, ramming the gas to pit me or send me sailing. The instant we entered the curve, I hammered the brakes and wrenched the wheel left, shaving the rock face. 1 heartbeat of traction my gamble held. Chase's van brakes shot, tires bald, momentum wild, hydroplaned. He stabbed the pedal. Physics laughed. No. Even through the downpour his scream carried. Crack snap. The rail gave. The van catapulted into blackness. I rolled to the shoulder, lungs heaving, heart-punching ribs, wipers slapped water away. A jagged hole gaped in the guardrail. Sirens wailed up the slope. Cassie arrived with cops and medics, umbrella in hand. I peered over the lip. A crumpled smear of metal glinted far below. Half an hour later the radio crackled. Band flattened. 40M drop. Chase died on impact, torso folded around the steering column, ending his wretched life. Briar, tough cockroach, still clung to a thread, pinned halfway out the windshield. Face pulp, femur spear, rescue moved in. Then her eyes snapped open. Searchlights caught her gaze. She spotted me beyond the tape. All malice drained, only raw terror and a beggar's plea remained. A blood-slick hand lifted, lips mouthed. Help! I stared, rain mixing with whatever ran down my cheeks. Fuel leak, pull back, the chief roared. Gas dripped on hot metal. Sparks danced. Kaboom! A fireball swallowed the van and girl alike. Depleting hand wilted into flame. Evil had feasted on itself. Police combed skid marks. Dash cam footage. Debris. Verdict. Chase's reckless pursuit caused the plunge. A road rage accident. My maneuvers counted as legitimate defensive driving. No charges. Watching the pyre, I felt months of bile rise with the smoke and finally dissipate. 1 month later the dust had settled. No one claimed Chase or Briar's ashes. Dolores, now a babbling wreck in the psych ward, hugged a pillow she called son. The Monroes slunk back to their hometown, too ashamed to collect the remains. Only the ex-wife, the victim, me bothered. I planted them in Oakshade's loneliest, coldest corner. Cheap stone, no photos. Today the sky behaved, sunlight like polished gold. I wore fire engine red sunglasses, hiding everything, and carried the bottle of champagne we never cracked at the wedding. I stood over the twin slaps. Chase and Briar schemed to be together in life. I've obliged you in death. Haunt each other down there and leave the living in peace. I twisted the cap, poured crimson onto the dirt. This glass to me for once being blind and now wide awake. I tossed the empty bottle into a trash bin and walked away without a backward glance. At the cemetery gate, a brand new crimson convertible idled. Cassie, shades on, bass thumping, whistled, "Hey gorgeous. Need a ride? So single lady celebration tonight." I slid in, shut the door, watched Oakshade shrink in the mirror, smile curving. Floor it to the priciest bar. Order the hottest bartenders. Tonight we don't go home sober, I roared. The road unfurled like silk. A world free of that garbage smelled like pure sugar.